Hello, everyone. I was having some technical difficulties. They've updated the system, and I don't like change. But hi, welcome to every Tuesday. To this week, I just wanted to, of course, welcome everybody. I'm still here in Mohkinstsis territory in Treaty 7. I am from Treaty 6. I'm from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation in Treaty 6 territory. And I'm very humbled and honored to be able to live here in Mohkinstsis. In spite of everything that's been happening, this is my home, and I've really kind of carved out a place here. You're kind of seeing a different angle of my house every week. So behind me usually is where I would shoot, but we have a huge game of Catan going on, so that's happening later. But just to welcome everybody into the circle today, I wanted to acknowledge the land upon which we stand. So I acknowledge the different treaties, the different nations that make up Treaty 7. So the Blackfoot from Siksika, Kainai, and Pagani. I have so many friends on each of those nations, and they're such a resilient people. It's funny that the Cree and the Blackfoot used to fight. We never used to get along, but now I have so many Blackfoot friends that they're my family. They're my family, literally. Actually, some of them are literally my family. So it's a blessing to be able to know them and have them in my life. We also acknowledge Tsutsuna. Great shopping out there. If finally, when everything opens, I'm definitely going to go buy some things. It's just a blessing. I've gone out there to sweat. I used to pick some of my medicines out there. Tsutsuna is it's a magical place. I really love it out there. The view of the mountains is wonderful. As you start driving further up, you're going to pass Morley. So we honor the Stoney Nakoda there on the way to Banff. And they have incredible views of the mountains. I've gone there for ceremony, for sweats, for teaching, and I just love it out there. So I acknowledge Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley, those 3 different nations out there. And all of the amazing work that all of these people are doing throughout Treaty 7 to really bring attention and, honor all of our ancestors. So it's really, really important that we can do that in a good way. And so to welcome everybody into the circle today and acknowledge the relationship that we have to the land and to each other, I wanted to sing the Cree welcome song. Normally when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4 to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But this we sing in rounds of 3, and that's to keep the circle open and welcoming so everyone completes the circle today. Because in a circle, we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end. No one is greater or less than anyone else in the circle, just like in the Hoop of Life. So it teaches us to really honor each other for those differences, because we need those differences. Those differences is what makes the whole world function. We need all of the scientists and the artists and the farmers and the teachers and everyone. We need everyone in that circle to make it work. And so we honor everyone. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to agree 100% of the time, but it's when we come together and find those compromises, that's when our community is resilient. And so this song, it honors that resilience, it honors that connection. It's the Cree welcome song. It's from the Napthahau family from Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation in Saskatchewan, which is in Treaty 6 territory, my territory. And I honor the family for keeping this song alive. And normally when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4 to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But this, we sing in rounds of 3. And that's to keep the circle open and welcoming so everyone completes the circle today. Because like I said, in a circle, we're all connected. And so this is me on sit. I'm going to stand up to sing so I can get some breath. I've been cleaning the house, so I'm a little coffee just because there's a lot of dust downstairs. Miasen, miasen, hasemina, hasemina, epetakute, iwagomagan. Hota, homa, kitaskino, miasen, miasen, hasemina, hasemina, epetakute, Iwagomagan Hota Homa Kitaskino Miasin Miasen Hasemina Hasemina Epetakute Niwagomagan Homsa Homa Kitaskino. Hi, honey. Welcome to the circle today. There was Lyndon over in the background singing some harmonies, so that was really lovely.
Like the entire time.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. So I'm going to sing the Four Directions song, or Wende Aho, just to welcome in the Four Directions. We've kind of had all seasons in the last couple days here. So we've had snow, we've had sun, it's been really windy, we've had rain. So I want to honor those four directions, those four winds. Also, as we're gardening, as we're watching all of this beautiful growth and watching all of these beautiful things come back, it's important to acknowledge that balance, that cycle of, you know, life and birth and growth, and then eventually abundance, which will lead to the next phase. So it's just a really beautiful transition time. I love the springtime because you can actually watch those things unfold. We're watching buds opening. We have buds all over the counter that we planted. My cat's been eating them, so we're gonna have to rethink that for next year. But at least the buds are starting to sprout, even though they're getting eaten. So this is Wende Aho. It's also known as the Cherokee Morning Song. It can be found on YouTube. Robbie Robertson actually put it out. I learned it as the Four Directions song because it honors those four winds. So, yeah, I was thinking a lot about storytelling and how important it is, because there's so many different stories around the plants and the animals, the different things that they teach us. And so I wanted to share the Cree creation story. I think everybody tells a story a little bit different. And the beautiful thing about First Nation stories or Indigenous stories in general is they don't have like, there's a moral of the story. Not like Aesop's fables where there's one lesson and that's it, but there's so many different lessons peppered in. So every time you hear the story, you're going to hear so many different things depending on where you're at in your life and what you need to learn. So you might hear that story 100 times in your lifetime, and every single time it will teach you something new about yourself or something new about what you're going through, or it will have that message that you need at any given time. And so all of our stories are like that. And I think that's truly what makes a good story. It's something that can impact and touch you in a meaningful way. And this is why it's important to share our stories with each other and with other people. And so the creation story. So a long time ago, before we were created, well, that's not true. We were created before, but there was a spirit. His name was Wasakajak. And Wasakajak was supposed to teach us how to live on the world. He was supposed to teach us how to honor and respect all of the plants, and how to only take what we need, and how to live in balance and speak to the animals, how to honor the water and honor the earth and honor the air. But Wasakajak's a little bit lazy, so he didn't do it. He didn't get it done. And so we didn't learn. If a parent doesn't teach a child, they won't learn. And so Wasakajak was supposed to teach us. We didn't know, we didn't learn, and so we were just kind of devastating the world. We didn't know how to treat each other or the plants or the animals or anything. And so because of this, we started just taking and taking and taking and never giving anything back to the earth. And the earth started to get very depleted and very, very sick. We didn't know how to dispose of anything, so we were just throwing things in the river, and everything started to get really sick. The fish started to get sick, the water started to get sick, and in turn we started to get sick because we couldn't drink it. And then, of course, the oceans got very sick. And then the humans were watching as everything was just kind of getting devastated. And then they started realizing that there wasn't enough plants, there wasn't enough animals for everyone because people weren't taking care of it and weren't replenishing it. And so they started to fight with each other. And so they went to war with each other and they started killing each other off. And then there was these huge fires which polluted the air and everybody was getting really sick. And then Creator just said, no. We need a do-over here. We need a mulligan. And so he started to make it rain. Now, Wasakajak, who was supposed to be responsible for us, was laying under a tree, just having a little bit of a snooze, kind of close to the river, and not even really realizing what was happening around him, because sometimes he's pretty oblivious. But as it started to rain more and more and more, the water started rising higher and higher and higher until it started overtaking Wasakajak's legs, and Wasakajak woke up and was like, oh no, I messed up. This is big trouble. I've got to do something to at least save the rest of the animals so that we could rebuild the earth. And so he thought, okay, who do I talk to? Who always knows what to do? The beaver. The beaver always knows what to do. And so Wasakajak ran to the beaver and he said, Beaver, the world is going to get destroyed. We need to start over. How do you think we're going to do it? We need to save all of the animals. We need to save us. What are we going to do? And the beaver thought and thought and thought. Said, we should go talk to the cedar. The cedar has been here the longest. She's been watching all of this. And so together they walked to the beautiful cedar tree. Now this cedar was huge. I don't know if anybody's ever seen a really old tree before, but she was massive. And she had been watching all of us, the two-leggeds, ebb and flow, and with great interest. But in spite of the fact that there was a lot of trees being cut down, no one ever touched that sacred cedar for some reason. I think everyone secretly knows when something is special or sacred. But the beaver said, Cedar, there's a huge flood coming. What are we going to do? And the cedar said, well, Beaver, I would like you to cut me down and hollow me out. And all of the animals that are left, I would like you to climb inside me, and I will save you. And the beaver didn't want to cut down that beautiful cedar. He was like, no, there has to be another way. And the cedar said, I have been here for thousands and thousands of years, and I know what needs to come next. Trust me, Beaver, I will sacrifice myself so everyone else can have a fresh start. And so reluctantly, the beaver cut her down, and for miles and miles and miles around, everyone could hear the loud whoop when she fell, because she was such a huge tree. And that was the cue to all of the animals around the world that this was the last salvation. So all of the animals ran and ran and ran from all over the world. And as the beaver hollowed out that beautiful tree, all of the animals climbed inside. The bear and the beaver, of course, all of the different birds, and everyone just stacked in the boat. And they were like, okay, we've got this. And so as everyone finally got into the boat, all of a sudden it started raining harder and harder and harder. And the water started rising higher and higher and higher. All of the rivers burst their banks and started to join up with the river until absolutely no land was in sight. And all of the animals watched as the land sunk lower and lower and lower and became deeper and deeper and deeper under all of the water until they could see nothing else but darkness under the water. And this went on for days and days and days, and nights and nights and nights, and all of the animals were starting to lose hope until one day it finally stopped raining. The clouds started to dissipate and a beautiful rainbow shone. Wasaka knew this was Creator's sign. He said, "It's time. We need to rebuild the earth. We need to rebuild the earth. What are we going to do?" So, of course, Wasaka went to Beaver because Beaver usually knows what to do. And she said, Beaver, we need to rebuild the earth. How are we going to do it? And the Beaver thought, and he thought, and he thought, and said, well, we'll probably need earth to rebuild the earth. So someone should dive down to the bottom of the ocean and grab some earth so that we can rebuild. And Wasaka says, that's a great idea. Who's going to do it? And the Beaver said, well, I'm a pretty good swimmer. I'll do it. I'll try. And so the Beaver jumped over the side of the boat. She dove down deeper and deeper and deeper, but she couldn't reach the bottom. And she came swimming up. She said, Wasaka, it is so deep and the pressure is so strong. I don't think anybody can do it. And Wasaka said, well, somebody's got to try. We need that earth. Who's willing to try? And asked everyone in the boat. And the bear said, well, I'm the biggest animal. Let me try. And so the bear jumped out of the boat. He tried to swim, but it was just after hibernation, so he was pretty chunky, so he just kind of bobbed in the water for a while. And everybody's like, get back in the boat, bear. This is unbearable to watch. But sorry, son. And then another animal was like, well, let me try. So the kingfisher, who's a wonderful swimmer, a wonderful diver, flew high, high, high up into the air and dove straight down into the water, cutting it like a knife. He used his wings to dive down deeper and deeper and deeper, but he couldn't reach the bottom. The eagle said, I'm the best diver. I can fly the highest. Maybe because I can fly the highest, I can dive the deepest. He tried and could not reach the bottom.
What about the peregrine falcon? Did the peregrine falcon try?
No, not the peregrine falcon, maybe.
It's not the fastest dive speed, so it could probably get the most distance.
Well, the turtle is also an amazing swimmer. She can dive down really, really deep. And so she tried. She jumped out of the boat and she dove down deeper and deeper and deeper. But the pressure was so much and it almost cracked her shell. In fact, it did. Into 13 pieces and 28 ridges around the outside. She came swimming up to the top and said, Wasaka, it is so far down, I don't think anyone can reach the bottom. The frog said, I'm a very fast swimmer, let me try. So the frog jumped out and dove down deeper and deeper and deeper, but could not reach the bottom. Came up to the top and said, Wasaka, I'm not sure anyone can reach the bottom. The otter said, well, I'm the fastest swimmer, I'm sure I could reach the bottom because I could dive really deep and I could swim really fast, let me try. And so the otter jumped out of the side of the boat, and he dove down deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, but could not reach the bottom. So he swam as fast as he could up to the top, and he said, Wasaka, it's really far down. I don't think anybody can reach the bottom. And then everyone was starting to lose hope. All of the best swimmers tried and failed. All of the best divers tried and failed. All of the fastest swimmers tried and failed, but no one could reach the bottom. And then finally, Wasaka said, what are we going to do? There was a little voice inside the boat that said, I can do it. All of the animals looked around and they said, who said that? And again, the little voice came, I can do it. And then the animal said, who said that? And then the little muskrat drove through the crowd. She stood up on her hind legs, puffed out her chest proudly and said, I can do it. And all of the animals started to laugh. They just laughed so hard. The biggest animals laughed and said, Muskrat, you're so small. How are you supposed to reach the bottom? The fastest swimmers said, Muskrat, you're so slow. How are you supposed to reach the bottom? There's no way we can reach the bottom. How are you supposed to reach the bottom?
Why can't they just work together?
The best swimmers said, well, we couldn't reach the bottom, Muskrat. You probably can't reach the bottom either. And then all the best divers said, there's no way you could reach the bottom. You can't dive as well as we can, Muskrat. So all of the animals were just erupting in laughter. And then Muskrat ignored all of their laughing and said, "I can do it." And so very proudly, she stood up on the edge of the boat. She took the deepest breath she had ever taken in her life. And then she dove down into the water. She dove down deeper and deeper and deeper. And all of the animals started to realize Muskrat was gone. And they stopped laughing. They looked over the edge of the boat and they watched as Muskrat continued to dive down deeper and deeper and deeper until she disappeared beneath the darkness of the ocean. And all of them became very, very silent. And they waited, and they waited, and they knew there was no way that Muskrat could hold her breath that long. No one could. And so they started to get upset. Muskrat, Muskrat, why would you do that? Why would you try and reach the bottom when you knew you couldn't? And so many of the animals started to cry. They cried and they cried and they cried so much that the ocean became salty with their tears. And then Wasakajack continued to look over with such hope into the darkness of the ocean and saw a little silhouette starting to float up from the depths. And as it got closer and closer, they saw that it was Muskrat's lifeless body. So as it got close to the boat, Wasakajack reached in with all of his might and held her very close to his heart. And he cried. He cried so hard that he wiped off all of the color on Muskrat's belly. This is why muskrats with white bellies are very sacred. And Wasakajack said, "Why would you sacrifice your life?" And all of the animals started crying harder, wondering what they could do. They were all without hope until Muskrat's tiny little paw flopped open. And in the very center of her paw was a small ball of earth. Muskrat had done it. She had sacrificed herself so that everyone else could live and the world could be rebuilt. All of the animals were so thankful for Muskrat's sacrifice. And Wasakajack knew it was time for him to get to work. And so Wasakajack asked all of the animals, "Who will carry this earth on their back?" And the turtle climbed into the water and said, "I will carry the earth on my back." Wasakajack began to rub all of that mud in a circle on the turtle's shell. And as he did, it got bigger and bigger, larger and larger, and it spread out more and more. It got heavier and heavier and heavier on the turtle's back until it sunk the turtle below the ocean. And the beaver said, "I want to help." And so the beaver hopped out and started tapping down the earth. And as it did, it got larger and larger and larger still until it became all of the landmass that we see now. And then Wasakajack said, "All of the animals, we need to start over. We need to rebuild." And Wasakajack took a deep breath to the east, and as he did, Grandfather Sun came out, and he shined with all his might and all his love and warmed the earth. And as he did, all of those seeds that were buried deeply in the earth started to sprout. All of those baby animals started to spread all over the world. And then Wasakajack took a breath to the south, and the earth began to tremble. The earth began to shake. Huge trees started reaching up to the sky. The beautiful cedar trees started to reach to Creator again and reach their roots deep into Turtle Island to hold tight and strong into her shell. And then all of the mountains started to grow and rattle towards the sky. All of the valleys started dipping deep, and all of the sand and wind and dirt and earth spread all over, and all of the plants began to sprout and spring up and cover the earth. Wasakajack took a breath and blew to the west, and as he did, Grandmother Moon came out, and she shined with all of her might, and she pushed with all of her love, and pulled and pushed and pulled. As she did, all of the waters rushed over Turtle Island. She pulled and all of the waters receded. Pushing again, all of the waters rushed over Turtle Island. Pulling and they receded. She continued to push and pull and push and pull until all of the waters coated Turtle Island, creating the rivers and the streams and the ponds, the different oceans where they belonged. And then she honored the days and the nights. And this is why we honor Grandmother Moon with those 28 days. And then when Sakajak took his last breath, and he breathed to the north, and as he did, the winds began to spin. The earth began to spin. It began to spin so fast. And then Grandmother Moon and Grandfather Sun pushed and pulled together until they created the days and the nights, the months and the years, together in unison, honoring each other and honoring that balance. The winds began to spin over the earth, spreading more seeds, and all of the animals took their breath for the first time and gained their spirits, their knowledge that they were to share with the two-leggeds, because Wasakajak knew that he couldn't do it by himself. And then Wasakajak took that beautiful muskrat and blew. Muskrat took a breath. She came back to life. That was Wasakajak's gift to the muskrat. That beautiful gift of life. But that was Muskrat's gift to all of us. And so this is why the muskrat is very sacred. And this is why we learn our lessons from the animals and the plants and not from Wasakajak. And that's the recreation story.
I like that last thing you said.
So
Wasakajak.
Yeah, Wasakajak's a little. So the song that I'm going to share now, this is the Creator song, and I learned this from my friend Elizabeth, who had learned it from a friend of hers as well, and it's just a beautiful song. It's a beautiful way to honor the earth, honor Creator, honor all of us, because we're all part of creation. We're not above it or below it, we're all part of it. And so this is the Creator song. And Linda, did you want to sing, or are you good?
I'm good.
All right, 1 second. That's a Creator song. I've had a couple friends contact me about the healing song, just because now is the time where we need the healing the most. It was a ceremony song for a really long time, but a lot of the elders who had shared it said this is the time that we need it. We need it for our friends, our family. We need it for our society. We need it for our beautiful Mother Earth. And it's a really powerful song. I've seen miracles happen with this song. And so it's really about honoring that heartbeat, honoring the healing that we need in our own lives and the healing that people need in their lives as well. And so when we sing it, it reminds us that to heal, we need to be balanced. We need to be fully balanced. So we sing it in 4 rounds. The third round is considered the healing round. It's where we actually stop drumming. And in that silence, I invite you to pray for the people that need the healing. Pray for yourself. Never forget to pray for yourself. But really honor that we need our mental state, our mental healing, physical healing, emotional healing, and of course spiritual healing. We need to be directly and deeply connected to Creator to be able to heal fully and completely. And so this song honors that. But when the drum comes in on that 4th round, it's so that you can let it all go, that you can let go of that worry, let go of that fear, and just trust that the universe has something in store. And so, yeah, this is the Cree healing song. It's also called the crying song or the wailing song. And so in it, you'll hear the tears. That's a great song. I love that one. And so Lyndon said he would help me with the chickadee song. I was watching, we have some bird feeders outside our window, and we're watching all of the beautiful chickadees just, going to town. And then the squirrel ripped open the bag of birdseed, and so now there's a lot more chickadees going to town in our backyard. So, and then of course the cats are in the windows just chittering at them. But yeah, the chickadees just remind me of that joy that spring brings. So when we look at the chickadee, it represents that joy, that happiness, but it also represents communication because they talk to each other. They talk to each other with such joy. And if you've ever heard a chickadee talk to each other, you'll hear one say, chickadee, dee, 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 and you'll hear a tiny pause before another one will respond, cheeseburger. So they talk to each other. And they remind us in our own lives that we have to have those open lines of communication with each other. We need to talk to each other. We need to listen to each other. So it teaches us how to listen deeply, because if we're planning what we're going to say and somebody's talking to us, are we truly listening to what they have to say? Are we truly engaged in that situation? And when we want people to listen to us, we have to listen to them. It's all about balance. And so, yeah, this is what the chickadee teaches us. And also to always approach things with such joy, because they're just fat, happy little birds, and they say their own name and they say cheeseburger. So it's kind of hard to take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, they're cursed with only saying those 2 things.
But they're very, very cute. And so, yeah, this is the chickadee song. And then would you like to come and stand with me and do it? So that you're not this weird disembodied voice off screen?
No. Isn't that like kind of the point?
All right. It's a call and response song. Thanks. So I want to invite you, if you guys have smudge at home, please smudge with me. But it's just our way to like cleanse and ground and, you know, get focused. Whenever I'm stressed out, I smudge and I feel like 1,000 times better. It's stress relief. It really is, because it just puts you back into your being. You know, it really puts into perspective what's important and how to balance yourself off. So that's really, really important to do. So here we go. I always use matches. And there's no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you. I like to take my jewelry off just because metal holds energy, and I'm trying to get rid of any energy that I'm carrying that I don't need. So it's about getting rid of things that you don't need and calling in the things that you do need for you, for your life, whether it be healing, whether it be balance, whether it be gratitude. Ask for the things that you need, not what you don't. Oops, I'm just gonna light that real quick. And remember to fan it with your hand. Don't blow on it, because your breath is your life and your life is precious. You don't waste it for anybody. In my smudge bowl, I have all 4 directions. So the bowl itself is water. It's the women's medicine. When we light it on fire, it's fire. That's the men's medicine. Whatever medicine we put in. Today I'm only using sage, which is the women's medicine. But as soon as it goes into the bowl, it's earth. So because it comes from Mother Earth. And then the smoke is it's air. It's our connection to Creator. So it's the way we pray. And the cool thing about it is science proves that it's actually good for us. So it's a good thing. Cleans the air. And so I'm going to bring it over my body 4 times. One of the 4 directions in my body. Smudge my mind so I can think clearly and learn from every person that crosses my path. Smudge my ears so I can be open to hear all of the messages Creator sends me. So I can listen. And so I can listen twice as much as I speak. This is why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Smudge my eyes so I can see all of the beauty all around me. Smudge my nose so I can smell danger and cookies. Cookies. Smudge my mouth so I speak only true and kind words that are helpful. Always ask yourself, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is it respectful? If it's none of those things, don't say it, don't do it. Trying to instill that in my kids. Smudge my throat, because I'm very thankful for my voiceless lifetime. I give voice to the voiceless, and I think that's very important. Smudge my lungs, so I breathe good, clean air. I also have asthma, so I'm going to smudge my lungs a little extra, because as we've been cleaning and sorting through stuff, the dust is really getting to me. Smudge my heart, so I can be kind and compassionate and show unconditional love to all those around me, but also so I can be kind and gentle to myself, because we're really hard on ourselves. Smudge my stomach, so all the food that I eat this day will nourish my body. Smudge my shoulders and my back, so I can carry all of the responsibilities that Creator's gifted me with grace and humility. Smudge my arms and my hands, so I do the good work that Creator's put me here to do. I also smudge my hands a little extra because I'm very thankful to be an artist this lifetime. My nails look amazing right now, and it's because I haven't really been crafting, but next week they're probably all going to be gone because I'm going to be starting to make drums and rattles for people. Smudge my legs so that I can walk this red road in a good way. And smudge my feet so I stay grounded and connected to Mother Earth and tread lightly upon her, honoring her with every step. And when you're done, just anyone that you want to send a little extra love to, just hold them in your heart and really send that love and appreciation to anyone that you know is going through a hard time, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, anyone that just needs you, needs your prayers, needs your energy. Send them that love. And yourself. And family and friends, the people that we haven't seen in a while, I always pray for. And then when you're done, you just say, hi, I'm a witch. I'm going to put that to the side so it has a chance to burn out. All right, so next song I'm going to sing, I'm kind of like on a kick of bird songs because we've been seeing a lot of birds in our front and backyards, and we haven't even sown all our seeds yet, so it's only going to get crazier. A bird hit my window today and it scared the living crap out of me. And so I ran outside to make sure it was okay. It was fine. It just flew away, but it scared me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that poor bird. But I think sometimes the birds are there to warn us, like to pay attention, to listen. You know, they have lots and lots of lessons for us. And so the Raven is no exception to this. I'm going to share the Raven song just because it's Lyndon's favorite song.
Yes.
It used to be the Bear song. That used to be his favorite song, but now the Raven song is his favorite song. And the Raven teaches us about humility. It teaches us about being kind and compassionate, not comparing ourselves to others, because the Raven used to have these beautiful rainbow feathers, but it was basically comparing itself to others, saying that it was better than everyone else. And then it got a harsh awakening when the bear played a trick on him. And then the Raven flew into the sun to prove himself as the best animal, burnt all of the colors off his feathers, and this is why we have the beautiful raven-colored feathers now. But he learned his lesson, and this is how he became the trickster. And so it teaches us that we can't compare ourselves to other people. You know, we can only be the best us that we can be. And that's a really important lesson that we think we all need to take away. We tend to compare ourselves to other people, and this is what jealousy is all about. But we need to dial it back and just really focus on what we can give to the world. And it's not about if we're better or worse than anyone else. We're not. We're just on different journeys, and that's important to recognize. And everybody's coming in. They're outside doing gardening. And so this is the Raven song. I think I have time for one more song, and then we got to get this mad game of Catan going. So we were playing for a few hours yesterday, and now we get to play it for a few hours more today. And so this last song, I consider it a traveling song. It's very fitting for the beautiful clouds that are in the sky. So this is the Thunderbird song. I know this is my friend Cash's favorite song, and so I'm singing for him and his friend and for everyone else. But this song teaches us that everything happens for a reason, and we need to really honor those reasons. Everything that happens to us, it's an opportunity. We have to think of things as an opportunity, whether they be really negative things or really positive things. It's an opportunity to learn and to grow. And if we don't learn the lessons along our path, we're going to keep repeating them again and again and again until eventually the Thunderbird just gets fed up with us and just is like, nope, and kicks us on the right path. And sometimes when it gives us that little boot, it's not the most gentle of learnings.
For Mom, it was getting hit by a truck.
For me, it was getting hit by a truck, but it put me on the path that I'm on now. And so I honor that journey and where it's brought me. And so this is the Thunderbird song. Consider it a traveling song too, because it's really about honoring the journey that you're on and appreciating every step, everything that happens to you, because it leads you in the right direction. All of the people that are in my life or who have been in my life at any given time have showed me the things that I love and the challenges that I have within myself, but also how strong I am as a person. And I think all of those challenges do make us stronger and wiser, hopefully, as long as we're paying attention to those lessons of a Thunderbird and the path ahead. So this is the Thunderbird song. I'm going to try and figure out the whole YouTube thing next week. We'll see. I tried to do it today. I said I had to do all these like weird things. So hopefully I'm figuring it out. So yeah, Smudge, thank you guys so much. Hi for everybody joining me this week. I'm kind of losing my voice again, but I really appreciate it, and I think it's really important to be able to share what we have, with the world, in whatever means we have. And I couldn't imagine going through what we're going through now at any other time in history, because the technology that we have now is incredible, and so I'm so thankful, for the teachings and the lessons that have been shared through many different people. So Smudge, everyone, for coming, and please feel free to share. It's going to be stuck on my wall, and then eventually when I figure out how, hopefully I'll be able to download it all and put it all on the YouTube, as my Coco would say. So love you all. Hi.